Wow, very powerful song sang there at a recent protest. And I think, terms like Mama Bear exist for a very specific reason, and I think we're going to find out why soon. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and oh boy, do we have a lot of serious information to get into, especially with the latest scientific data and information coming in that very oddly is being suppressed and kept away from the general public in Australia. Major bombshells here. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. And seriously, because there's so much to get into, we're just going to jump right into it. As we're finding out today that German inflation rose to a 28-year high to 4.5%. This as here in the United States, U.S. Treasury 30-year bond yields fell below 20 years for the first time, according to Bloomberg. That, along with mandates, labor shortages, the destruction of supply chains, energy prices going up, is creating a perfect storm of economic calamity coming to most people. And as there is an obvious major significant problem coming our way, what is the Federal Bureau of Investigations with the full might of the surveillance state doing? Well, according to a mother in Virginia, she's claiming that parents at a school board meeting are being surveilled by police and federal agents after she complained that her kids were being exposed to extremely vile content that in many instances is considered illegal. We can't tell you what it is here on YouTube, but these allegations do seem true with all the latest absolute nonsense that has been happening at school board meetings across this country, and of course with the FBI even acknowledging that they are going to be going after PTA attendees. This as one school in Minnesota is now ordering parents to announce their home address before being able to even speak at public meetings. Yes, the chairwoman of the Minnesota School Board wants parents to dox themselves, tell everyone where they live for the record, forcing them to provide their home address in order to participate in an open forum public meeting, with of course videos that go live on social media. There's a video of this. It has gone viral. While in Florida, a school board member took elementary-aged children on a field trip to a gay bar, which he publicly announced that he was, quote, so honored to do so. The nonsense in our public schools only continues to get more ridiculous as a public school in Kentucky had its principal organize lap dances where male students performed on him and other facility members' erotic dances at a homecoming event. Yeah, if there ever was a time for parents to get involved in schooling, in what's happening with their money going to raising their children, I think this is the time to do it. And for the FBI to discourage that, saying that they're going to be going after parents who do this, is just absolutely ridiculous in my own personal opinion, as ridiculous as what is happening in many of these public schools. This on top of many people's voices being censored surrounding this particular topic, as well as the topic of what recently happened in Loudoun County, Virginia, which we can't even talk about on this very platform. We are going to be talking about it on LukeUncensored.com, but you should understand that there is a concerted effort by a lot of the corporate sellout establishment, including individuals like John Oliver, that just released a piece calling for the censorship of people's private messages. See, it's not enough that they censor real important conversations that should be taking place here but can't. Now they want to go after people's private individual groups of conversations within their family members. That's disgusting, but hey, that's why we have LukeUncensored.com, our own exclusive platform where we get to do and say whatever we want, when we want. We're going to be releasing a very important video later on today about the bigger story of what's happening in Australia, as well as some bigger cultural issues that are also too spicy to address here on this platform. We are going to be talking about what has happened in Loudoun County. Again, lots of crazy stuff out there. We're going to explain it later on today on our own platform. You haven't checked it out yet, click the link down below, LukeUncensored.com, and I hope to see you there later on today. Now, I think it's fair to say that since the madness began at the start of 2020, a lot of people have capitalized on it and used a lot of people's personal tragedy in order to benefit either socially or politically. One micro example of this is Michigan State University giving out free masks for people of color, except charging white people money for it. This, although petty, vindictive, and discriminatory, let's be honest here, is absolutely nothing compared to the high-level criminality that has been conducted by the extremely powerful in our society. As we're learning today that, of course, Pfizer, the Biden administration, and some former or future Pfizer employees within the federal government are plotting, of course, to mandate a medical procedure for children. Now, what's the science? What's the data backing the need for this? Well, absolutely nothing, since, of course, this procedure is for a sickness that children die 10 times more of suicide than the actual sickness. If you would want to help children, you would deal with self-hurt issues, depression, issues that deal with overall happiness, gratification, satisfaction, with proper mental health practices that should be incentivized. You would think if we really did care about the children, we would prioritize something that actually does affect them on a grand scale. And if people want to argue that this needs to happen in order to help everyone else, I have to remind people that societies that prioritize the health and well-being of the elderly over the young are the truly sick societies that usually don't make it very long in history. This, as we're learning today, that the FDA committee members that are reviewing this major decision have previously worked for Pfizer or have other connections to, of course, the big pharma agency that also has a criminal past. This, as just recently, top FDA members quit because they said that the Biden administration was acting too overzealous and aggressive, trying to push a third medical procedure. And now, learning this conflict of interest should raise some serious concerns and questions. Now, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not here telling you what to do with your own personal bodies. That is the decision that you should decide for yourself after having informed consent and being able to examine and look at all the data and decide for you with your medical professional what is right for yourself. But at the very least, there should be some kind of critique here, some kind of conversation, and there isn't. It definitely doesn't seem like we're following the scientific method here, as of course other medications that we don't have enough data on aren't being used here. But now when there's not enough data surrounding children and this procedure, it is somehow told to us that it's safe. Again, lots of very serious questions here by very big industries here that many times don't practice what they preach. Like Bill Gates, who is a big-time advocate of this procedure and also a big advocate of people eating soy, plant-based vegan meat. Why, of course, he's not a vegan himself. He's also a huge advocate of this procedure, which we're finding out, according to a study published in the peer-reviewed Journal of Cellular Molecular Immunology this week, that there's a variant of this sickness that effectively, quote, evades the antibodies that are induced by Pfizer and AstraZeneca procedures. How active is this variant? How active is it around the world? Are there other variants? How is this procedure working towards them? Well, I wish we could find out, but there's government authorities literally preventing data and information from getting out there to the general public. You would think at such an important juncture where we need transparency and accountability from our government that they would give us a little bit of this and show us what's happening here. But for the people of Australia, that is absolutely a no-go, as of course the Victorian government officials have just announced that they are refusing to release the important details about the people who have been dying about this from this sickness, whether they have taken this procedure for it or not. Now, why won't they tell us if the people dying from this sickness had a procedure against this sickness? This, as of course, today, the Victorian government reported 1,925 new cases, 25 deaths related to this sickness, but authorities are refusing to give a breakdown of how many people were, quote, protected by this procedure and still died from it. This, as there was a previous Australian government report highlighting how 7 people have previously died just a few weeks ago from this sickness, and 6 of them were people who have taken this procedure. Why do we have this lack of transparency and accountability? This, of course, is fueling a lot of mistrust, as talked about by the Herald Sun in Australia. And the deputy chief of health there, Ben Cowie, this man that you're looking at, just simply saying, quote, "We're not going to be reporting on that," is not an answer. It's not good enough. As of course we know that the UK government has been releasing data showing how a majority of people who have been dying from this have had the procedure. This is not unique to Australia and the United Kingdom, as in Israel. New data has just came out that shows how a large portion of the population has taken this procedure, but the rate of hospitalization and death is largely unchanged. In Australia, recently there was a report of 15 people getting sick at a gym. The gym only made sure that people with this procedure could use it. So if everyone did take this procedure, how did they get sick here? And why is it that places like Florida are ending up with the best numbers, the best statistics here, when they're doing almost the complete opposite of what Australia is doing? Florida, right now, is the best place to be in if you're afraid of this sickness. Again, that's a personal choice. And they refuse to implement mask mandates or mandates around this procedure. It's important to note that other private enterprises and businesses are also making a stand here for personal liberty, for personal freedom. But some people argue now for common sense, since a lot of this science, a lot of this data directly conflicts with the narrative that we're being told. And I'm not here to make up my mind on it. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your bodies. I'm not here to give you medical advice. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert. But these are some important questions that do deserve to at least be questioned, be addressed, and hopefully one day answered, because they are growing a large number of skepticism, mistrust, and people just simply asking themselves, normies like Kyles and Karens, saying, hey, what in the world's going on here? What do you think's going on here? Let me know in the comment section below. If you liked this video, click the like button. If you disliked it, click the dislike button. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys. I got another video coming your way on lukeuncensored.com. I hope to see you there very soon. Stay tuned for a lot more. Love ya!